Already. Oh, copy video URL. Yeah, on the walk to the studio this morning, I chanced to hear Kevin Clark's favorite song. Day 24. Ba ba da ba. Stick my tip in. Ridiculous. I don't have to sell my soul. Is already. Ooh. Alright. Got there. I think we've done our task. There. G had to go to Getamar. There we go. Alright, so I'm trying something new today where I don't have like security cameras like off to my left field of vision and worried about is a package going to arrive and so forth. It turned out that my package never arrived, and the company that shipped it was like, "Oh, we sent the right weight of shit," and so forth. So now, gotta knuckle down and deal with these motherfuckers. Nikolai Stavogrin says, serious question from you. How did you switch from an electrician to a novelist? Well, I still have to do electrical work all the goddamn time. Yeah, it's very few people make an honest living off of novels and so forth. I started writing when I was, I want to say, maybe like, well, the story I always tell is like when I was 9 years old, I met Ray Bradbury, which is true. And he was the first adult I had ever met that actually liked their job and wasn't miserable. So I was like, let me do what that guy's doing. And so I wrote pretty much all my childhood and so forth. And I got a lot of really good encouragement from English teachers who were like maybe if I say something nice about this guy's creepy short stories, he'll stop disrupting my fucking class. And it worked. Generally, the teachers that I liked were in English and in world history and government and stuff like that. And the ones, and also science. And then I just never got along with math teachers for whatever reason. And so that guided where I was going right there. But I dated an editor for like 12 years. And she was really good at like encouraging me to write more and told me that my stories were good, even though they clearly were not. But at the time, it was weird too because I was too vain to have any kind of real self-appreciation of how much work I needed to do. But that person was like very supportive of the early stages, and we put out a book together called Survival Mode that actually got like really decent reviews. It was short, but it was super fun. And yeah, just somewhere around 2015, I started to knuckle down and really take this serious. When I started, I could only like go like once or twice a week. I would like go to a coffee shop and try to write and just piss down words on the paper. And then, I started making it like twice a week. And then at some point, I was just like, I'm going to go and do this every single day because I needed the coffee. I was just completely addicted. And so a funny thing happens when you start doing something every single day without fail is that you actually get pretty decent at it through dint of dogged persistence. So I got into a point where that was the most important thing to me, and where every morning I would wake up and go hang out at a coffee shop and drink like 2 big iced coffees and write. And during that time, I finished a bunch of novels, including the one that we're working on right here. This was finished before I got what I would call really serious about writing. So at the start of the pandemic, like I think the end of 2019, I had written this story. Like I worked really hard on this story called Gravid, and I spent exactly 3 years working on it. And I started writing it while I was still in a relationship with that editor, and then we broke up, and I just channeled all my sadness into that story. I think actually we broke up. Yeah, we broke up like right around the time that I started writing it, and then I just put every ounce of my sadness into it. So I had this novel that I'd spent 3 years writing, and it was gigantic. It was like 800 pages long, about a young woman whose father dies, and she struggles with thoughts of suicide. And so I had this idea. I was like, I'm never going to edit this fucking thing. And I knew that it was too depressing and too long-winded and so forth to sell, right? I had tried to sell it to a couple publishers, and they were like, nah, I'm going to take a pass on that shit. Like 800 pages long about the intersection of depression and telepathy. Yeah, let me take a pass on that one. So my brainwave was to, like, because I do the other show, and I really like the audience there. And my brainwave was like, let me just, because I was pretty good also at doing the show every week, as good as I can be, basically. I'd say like 80% of the time we have a show on a Friday night. So I started editing online, and I found that it was much more fun to edit that way. Like, people would chime in. I didn't feel so miserable, and they had really good ideas a bunch of the time. So we, over the course of 100 days, where I think we might have missed one day that entire time, we edited that giant-ass novel and made it significantly better. Spoiler alert, it was not better enough to be sold. I'm currently in the process of a second edit of that guy. But we completed that too. And then after we did that book, I wrote a tiny little one called Space Tards, which was just to like clear the depressing taste out of my mouth. And that one was really fun. So we edited that online. And then after we had done those two, I was like, so I had written this one book that I knew was really good, but I didn't know how to fix it. I wasn't strong enough as a writer. And I had just spent a year and some change doing nothing but editing every single day and working really hard on it. And I was like, I now have the power to fix this book. And I did. And we fixed it, and it's fucking astounding. It's incredibly good. And then after that, I was just like, I wonder like how fast I can just crack out a novel. And then we did it, and it's sitting right here. And we just wrote this one. I wrote that in like 3 months, and then we spent 3 months editing it, and then I'm supposed to be spending 3 months marketing it. Spoiler, I'm not doing a good job. So we wrote this one. And then after that, I was like, well, let me go back to one of my old stories that a lot of people liked that unfortunately is just had been rejected by a couple of publishers for being too like long-winded, and just like this explanation is too fucking long-winded, by the way. So now we're working on this one, RAPAXORIS, which is a very old story in terms of what I've written, so I have to rewrite a lot of it because I've just learned a ton about what makes good writing and good characters and so forth now. So that's what I'm doing now, and I anticipate this will take about 200 days total to like take this book and wrap it around. I'd like to have it done by the end of the year if I can, but we'll see. I have to miss like 5 days coming up, and I'm really not looking forward to it because I have to go do some wet work. But anyhow, so that's basically the story. I've published 5 books so far. The last, and it will soon be 6, with the publication of Zeros. Hell yeah. This is coming out on October 1st. And nowadays I do everything myself. I used to work with like an editor and a proofreader and all this and everything. But after I broke up with this, I used to own like a publishing house with this lady, and we put out books. And after we broke up, I was just like, let me just learn to do all this shit myself. So I had already learned like a lot of the basics of typesetting. I've learned a lot of like graphic design and so forth. And I just rolled together all these skills, and I still I can't do the editing myself, obviously. Like we do this rough draft edit here, but then I have to hire, and I work with like a really good editor right now who is in my price range and very likes the stuff that I do and does great work. So right now he's working that book that I just talked about, Gravid. He's should be editing it as we speak. Get back to work, Tim. But I sub out the editing and obviously lean heavily on the support of a few online friends here who have just been tremendously helpful here just to get the editing done. And I'm a strong believer in putting out like really quality writing. Like a lot of people don't bother with an editor for stuff that they're going to do direct to Amazon, or they just have their mom proofread it or whatever. But I want to put out something that is better and better and better every time. Like at some point, I want to have a book on the New York Times bestseller or whatever the equivalent is by the time I finally do that. So, like we're putting the work in every single day, and even if I don't succeed, I really enjoy this. This is what I look forward to every single day. Believe it or not, when you see me just on here, just fucking dying to edit some of these chapters, this is what I really want to do with my life. And I still have to work a day job, and I still have to do an IRC radio show to make ends meet. And I'm still living in like a squalid brownstone in Bedford-Stuyvesant, but it doesn't really matter because like I get to do the thing that I want to do the most, and I'm actually getting pretty decent at it. Eventually, we'll just get to the point where even though I don't have like a lot of marketing chops, and let's face it, I'm more or less completely unlikable as a human being. People, I'll get into like the Harlan Ellison area where it's like, man, that guy's a fucking asshole. Good books though, like you got to get into that area. Anyhow, that's the dream. So the way that we're doing it is this story, RAPAXORIS. Now, if you don't know what the fuck this story is all about, in the YouTube, there is this link right here to a pastebin that has a synopsis of the first 8 chapters, which are what we've been able to edit thus far. So this is Big RAPAXORIS, the story. And the book, there are like 7 different books within RAPAXORIS, detailing a bunch of adventure. This is like an epic fantasy. I hate that epic is sort of it's dumb to me as a genre name, but this is like a type of fantasy that you would not call it so much that like grimdark fantasy or classical fantasy or whatever. It falls more into the scope of what we would call an epic fantasy. But I don't drag it out over 5 or 6 books. It's one complete narrative. I just can't stand where you have to read like 10 fucking books to get a story to happen. No patience for that Wheel of Time type shit where like I start reading Wheel of Time and I read the first book. I'm like, this is okay. I'm kind of interested in these characters. Then I read the second book. I'm like, this is a lot like the first book. Then I start to read the third book and I'm like, he's just rehashing the same shit. Yeah, it's just I don't like that. I'm a believer that there are definitely. I think if you go past a trilogy, that's too much. There just are not a lot of books where unauthorized, so that they love Wheel of Time. I'm not taking it away from anybody because there are different types of readers than me, right? There are readers. I know that there are people where when they finish a book, they're like, oh God, I wish there was more. I want to live in this world forever. And there are readers who love to like reread stories over and over and over again, just to try and keep that like piece of what's going on with them. They're in love with that particular idea. And I'm like a little bit different in that like I want something that makes like an immediate impact that I can't forget, where like pieces of that will come back to me in my day to day, where you can't stop thinking about one particular scenario or a detail or something like that, and it bleeds into your everyday life, and you just feel the stirrings of that like distant song or whatever. That to me is like one of the things that I really enjoy about books. The other part I really enjoy is like recommending a book to somebody and they read it and they love it and they like can't wait to tell me what it's all about, and me doing the same thing for them. So yeah, I guess one example is like I've been trying to get through the Maslan or Maslatan or Mazlan or whatever the fuck those Erickson guys books are like, and I just I'm on like book 3 or 2 or something like that, and I just keep forgetting all the shit that happened at the beginning. But anyhow, yeah, like I'll always love books and stories, and when I'm like a book is not for me, it doesn't mean I don't think it's good, right? It usually just I have like a very narrow, and same thing with music. Like if you listen to the music on my show, you can pinhole the stuff that I like to listen to, and stuff that's going to have like a pretty consistent beat, generally a high level of musical proficiency, and like what I would term as like a deep kind of soul to the music, something where I can like feel it in my rib cage. There are many types of music where you'll just see me like, all right, what is this? Like anything, and there's great fucking pop music out there, but usually it doesn't land on me because I'm such a fucking snob. And it falls the same with books and so on. Anyhow. So a big part of, today I'm trying to be less distracted. We only got like 160 words edited yesterday, and I want to get like a little bit more work done, but I have a hard stop at 10 o'clock, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get this chapter done by 10 o'clock. I think it's mostly action after this. So this is chapter 1.9. So to just give you a summary of what's happening in the story thus far, there are, one of these characters, Rigel here, broke into the tower of an archmage, Arath the Unraveler, and stole a magic orb. Then he was chased by the sorcerer's daughter, El Shala, and by her lover, Revel V. Ramos, a disgraced nobleman. So basically, they have fled up this river with this magic orb, and little do they know that there are 4 people in hot pursuit of them. This character here is Fish. So Fish is a ancient mariner type person. He's like an old fisherman who they dug out of the lake, and I can't remember his name or anything, really. But he has hatched this plan to steal the magic orb and to open the legendary RAPAXORIS. So this is a dungeon set in a mountain far in the wilderness that is allegedly full of demons who are very willing to make a deal in exchange for freedom. And why Fish wants to open up this dungeon, I don't know, but he's promised this young boy a mountain of treasure within, which may or may not be true. But this section of the story is about how they have Fish and Rigel have a relatively easy time making it to the dungeon, almost as if it's inviting them in. And the people who are following them have a very difficult time making it to the dungeon, almost as if some meddling force wants to keep them out. So we'll get into it right there. So it's chapter 1.9. RAPAXORIS by Zach Z. Wisey. Read by the author. Days of rowing left their mark. Skin burned and peeled, blisters burst, and calluses formed. The river flowed on forever, indifferent to their efforts. Indifferent to their labor. Making progress on the Rakar took constant effort. What if we swap those 2 words? The river flowed on forever, indifferent to their efforts. Making progress on the Rakar took constant labor. To stop rowing was to be swept backward. And then we have it as this. The river flowed on forever, indifferent to their labor. Making progress on the Rakar took constant effort. To stop rowing was to be swept backward. All right, I like it the way we have it. Thank you very much. I don't want to distract you, but we can have a dialogue about this and talk more sometime. I work 3rd shift, so I'm usually going on to sleep. Oh yeah, we'll definitely read up instead of listening to me, because you can have this on the background while you're working or whatever if you just want to soak up some of my quality editing advice. But definitely read rather than listening to me if you possibly can. because like I have little to teach anybody. But yeah, I'm a real fan of this, and I have written a how to complete your fantasy novel, like a set of advice on how to finish a novel that you've already started that is going nowhere. That because I did have to figure out how to finish these things. I have like intense ADD, most likely. You can see me getting distracted right now. And I really had to learn the hard way just how to finish something and how to keep at doing a novel. And I've written a thing of advice for it for people that want it. All right. But yeah, I'm always happy to fucking talk on this thing because then I can have a break from doing my job here. All right, so I like this intro paragraph. When the journey began, when their journey began on the Grey Key, Fish had eyed Rigel's scrawny arms and wondered if the boy was up to the task. When their journey began on the Grey Key, Fish had eyed Rigel's scrawny arms and wondered if the boy was up to the task. To his surprise, Fish was the one struggling to keep pace. His ancient joints griped and groaned with every dip of the oar. Fish pushed on anyway, unwilling to let a child outrow him. Rigel was relentless. The boy must have thought Fish would whip him if he slowed. They plowed upriver, yoked together by pride and fear. Fish was. There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna keep doing this no matter what. Like, if nothing else, a few people have written to me and said, like, yeah, man, like, you know, I just hang out on IRC every day and I get nothing done, and I'm inspired by your dogged persistence in pursuing your dream, as unlikely as it is. Because every day I'm out here tilting at that old windmill or whatever, and just like a few people have, even people who like will never write a book, are like, yeah, man, like I figure like if you're a dumbass can work on this book every day, I can get back to practicing piano or whittling or stalking my ex-girlfriend or whatever goal is in your heart. So good luck. Fish was pleased with his choices, both companion and canoe. Their boat was a reef. The boat was a reefer. The boat was a reefer's canoe, stitched whale hide stretched over a chuskia frame and impregnated with gale gum. Reefers were strong enough for open sea and light enough to be carried over the shoals to deep pools where the most elusive fish... Yeah, I don't like this sentence. Reefers were strong enough for open sea and light enough to be carried over shoals to the deep pools where the most elusive fish hid. Fish had worried her bottom might be torn out in the rapids. Why is that capitalized? But she'd held up admirably. Cool. All right, good luck, Nikolai. As the pair made progress up the Ricard, the valley bared its teeth. They rode past towering crags, beneath guano-streaked bluffs chattering with nests, and through tranquil canyons, ancient beyond measure. The trees were taller here, and the forests were darker. All around them were the songs of strange birds. In the distance, they could hear the lowing of unseen beasts. All right, so we added to this story a whole fucking page of description. But is it good description? Yeah, so we really try to hit, like, what do you see, what do you hear? We could, like, the river smelled pungent, as if an unwashed crotch had been drying in the sun, you know, like. As dusk approached, Rigel and Fish found a shattered stone watchtower rising from an island at the center of the river. They hid their canoe in the brush and climbed up to explore. Fish drew his sword, and Rigel clutched the nobleman's dagger. There was no need. It looked like no one had been here in a century. They set up camp inside the rune, watching sparks from their fire drift up to greet the first stars. Later, Fish saw Rigel glance across the fire at him with an expectant look on his face. The boy wanted to hear some spiel of the ones who'd built this tower, or an account of the battles fought in its shadow. Fish had nothing for him. He could not remember this tower at all. As they ventured farther north, his memories grew scattered and sparse. The absence of memory disconcerted. I don't like memory right there. But I do like the absence of memory. As they ventured further north, his recollections. I don't like that either. The absence of memory disconcerted Fish. When he failed to recall, there was a sense of theft, as if his pocket had been picked. He slept poorly that night, feeling he'd lost something vital. The next morning, Fish rose early and climbed down to the canoe. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled to the western shore. Dawn broke as he strung his bow. Fish shouldered a quiver of broadheads and paddled north along the shore. He kept close to the... padded north. Fish shouldered a quiver of broadheads and padded north. He kept close to the shore, trusting the burbling river to cover the sound of his creaking joints. Mm-hmm. 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 Boom. That's better. All right. The next morning, Fish rose early and climbed down to the canoe. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled to the western shore. Dawn broke as he strung his bow. Fish shouldered a quiver of broadheads and padded north. So I should... Headed north. Yeah. So the problem there is like the similarity of paddled and padded. As I'm reading it, the words are getting caught in whatever. So Fish shouldered a quiver of broadheads and headed north. And then broadheads is when I'm done with my current book, I want to read one of yours and get a better feel. But our writing styles are so different. I don't want to give feedback because it's, well, I mean, like if a book is already written, then feedback is not going to hurt it. Um, Well, also we're probably writing a different style of book for the most part. Like like fantasy and science fiction have like very different requirements than what have you. But yeah, if you want to start on a book, there are a bunch that are free on zaxyz.com. If you like science fiction, I would suggest reading Hawks at the Diner or Survival Mode. If you like fantasy, I would suggest reading The Master Arcanist. And yeah, like, and each of the books that I write is in like a pretty different style. Like this is a particularly description heavy fantasy. So it's been very interesting to watch. But yeah, don't feel shy with like your feedback if it's constructive, because I can always pick something up there. And like keep in mind there are like many, like I'm struggling to read fucking Blindness right now because I don't like Jose Saramago's style. This guy won a fucking Nobel Prize, right? And I'm like, ooh, Jose, enough already. So like just there's so many readers out there, and everybody's going to have their different impression, and you truly cannot make everybody happy. So I'm not too worried about it. The next morning, Fish rose early and climbed down to the canoe. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled to the western shore. Dawn broke as he strung his bow. So yeah, like I don't like the diction of this. All right, let's try this one. Dawn broke as he strung his bow and shouldered a quiver of broadheads. Yeah, broadheads is one word, Pages. One fucking word. He set off north and kept close to the shore, hoping the burbling river would cover the sound of his joints. Hoping the burbling river would cover the rasp of his joints. After a lonely mile of weaving along the riverbank, he spotted nothing larger than a squirrel. It didn't matter. It was a fine morning. Mm-hmm. Boof. Dejecta memora. Oh wow, I like that. Is that a real word? So is there a word for the short phrase that describes a sinking feeling that one is forgetting something, but he doesn't know what the something is? Um, Dejecta memora. Scattered fragments. Ooh, I really like that. Let's see if this is actually memoria dejecta. Dejecta is excrement. Oh, that's it is kind of a shitty feeling when dejecta memora. So this is there's a song about it. Dejecta memoria. Cast memory from the truth. It's a machine translation. I don't think that this is actually like a. Yeah, sadly, I feel like this is something that this person has made up. Sadness caused by serial senior moments. Disremember, fail to recall. Senior moment obviously doesn't fit within the context of this story. Yeah, I think this is just something this fucking person made up themselves. Ugh, it's a shame. I think Dostoevsky style description, Dickens. That's how I would do it. Yeah, keep in mind, we're running pretty top heavy for the amount of description that we've had in this so far. Mainly, that sentence is going to the weight of that sentence, which is half complete, by the way, will be the later half. We want to get into how he can't fucking. And he's just trying to take his mind off of it, which is the focal point of that. Let's see if we can find this with Memoria. Inglés to Latin. Memoria dejecta. mymemory.com. Huh. So it looks like this actually pops up in Latin. Cancellate dalla memoria. This looks like more Memoria dejecta. Let's see. Memoria lassi. So it picks it up as Spanish. Let's take a look at what happens if we put it in Italian, which is what I assume that is right there. Memory of dejection. God, I fucking dejecta memory. That's, all right, so that's not coming in. Memoria dejecta. Let's see what happens when we pop it into Latin. Memory cast. Nagging feeling of deja vu. The morning was fine. He spotted nothing larger than a squirrel. It was good to stretch his legs and get his mind off all the things he couldn't remember. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Psychology behind forgetting. Oh, this is not going to be. I'm not going to find what I need here. Also, their fucking layout is horrendous. Oh, cool. I can call this helpline and ask him what the fucking word is. It was good to stretch his legs and forget how much he'd forgotten. I like that. I really like the fish didn't mind. After days of rowing, it felt good to stretch his legs and forget how much he'd forgotten. Ooh. Yeah. I really wish that Dejecta Memoria shit was for real. Let's check. Yeah, let's check the Ngram viewer. Yeah, it has never appeared in a book that Google has read. Yeah. So Dejecta was popular. It's nice to know that the feeling of dejected comes from the Latin word for shitty. Ugh. No matter how much the language, or no matter how much the language changes, we're still the fucking same. After a lonely mile of plodding along the riverbank, he'd spotted nothing larger than a squirrel. Fish didn't mind. After days of rowing, it felt good to stretch his legs and forget how much he'd forgotten. That's like a little too clever for its own good, but I don't care. $200 character. Oh, he saw some of the Zeros there. Stretching his legs helped him take his mind off the memories he'd lost. Um, so yeah, like the line there. So this line, um, after days of rowing, it felt good to stretch his legs and to forget how much he'd forgotten. There we go. Um, that line is in there just because I think it's clever, right? it's not. It's not meant to be purely descriptive. And you can see the process too, where I'm like, I feel like there should be a word for this fucking thing. Um, it's a shame too that like out of all that like looking around, we didn't really glean the right word, and I feel like just shoehorning some Latin in there is not going to help our reader. Um, but anyhow, yeah, like it's not meant to be purely descriptive, and the reason why we included that there is like um, just to sort of have a cap on the paragraph at the end of he did this and he did that, and how's the character feeling about everything that's going on? And you can see that, yeah, he's like I didn't find anything, but who gives a shit? I'm sick of not being able to remember, so forth, and going senile and so forth. And oh yeah, just sorry that you have to like break it up there. But so this story, like he's a character that we're doing a lot of work on here. It's very difficult to write characters with failing memories because like a lot of the way that you have to say it is like, oh, I can't remember this thing, and you just keep bringing that up over and over and over again, and it just becomes very difficult to be in like a show not tell type phase because how do you show the absence of something? You know what I mean? So anyhow, but slow because I already took sleeping pills. I thought two forgot was redundant. Got you. Well, that's kind of like an interesting concept in like the editing too, is that you have to, like, it would be terrible for somebody who had not been writing for a long time to do this type of thing, because it's as bad to like just accept every bit of advice as to reject every bit of advice. Like everything somebody says, you have to like consider and apply your own judgment to, and that kind of arrogance really takes many years to develop. Being like, no, like, I hear what you're saying, but like, oh, this guy. And for my first, I want to say my first 10 years of writing, everybody that ever gave me feedback, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, thank you, that's great. And in my mind, I'm like, you don't know, but they did know, and I didn't know. Spoiler. Terrible. Okay, cool. So the other part of this too is if we set these piglets as like cavorting in the water, then the reader has like a little expectation. Oh, don't kill the little piggies. And since they don't actually get fucking shot, it's a great moment to have like a whew, glad he didn't shoot the imaginary pig. I like the like ring. Just as he made up his mind to return, Fish heard snuffling ahead. Past a copse of mulberry trees, heavy with red and black flute. Whoa! Look at this sentence. Just as he'd made up his mind to return, Fish heard snuffling ahead. Past a copse of mulberry trees, heavy with red and black fruit. I speed read so I don't sub-vocalize and analyze the words. Um, so this is a critical element of my editing theory, right? Because when I read, I sub-vocalize as well. But I've found that if you read each line carefully out loud and sound out each word as you're doing it, it engages a different part of your brain than when you're sub-vocalizing. Like the first several books that I read, that I edited, I sub-vocalized the entire thing, right? And when you sub-vocalize, you wind up writing these big ponderous sentences that are dense with information, and like frequently like have like 2 or 3 commas in there, and they're like run-ons and so forth. Reading the sentence aloud forces you to think about how somebody who is not sub-vocalizing will read the sentence as they sound out each thing, and I believe that it engages a different part of your brain and makes you see the sentence in a new light. And there, it becomes easier to pick out things that are clumsy or clunky. Like if something doesn't sound right to the ear, odds are it can be shaved or tuned up a little bit. And this is why I'm reading each one of these lines aloud and going over and over and over again. I really do think that it creates a better story overall. And a better story whether you're sub-vocalizing or whether you're one of these people that's sounding out every word. God bless them. But yeah, it's like a very intentional part of the process that I've developed over like the last few years, and it's been tremendously successful for me. It really does, and honestly, I've applied it to technical writing as well. It just makes for more readable text, because it's much harder to write something awkward that sounds good to the ear than vice versa. Wait, it doesn't make any fucking sense vice versa. You know what I'm saying here. Just as he made up his mind. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can have something. I almost want to say he made up his mind to return, but inertia carried him forward. But that's a little too much. Mm-hmm. Just as he made up his mind to return, Fish heard a splash ahead. Through a copse of mulberry trees drooping with red and black fruit, something was snorting in the shallows. Fish crept from trunk to trunk and spied 4 dappled gray yearly piglets playing in the river. What a prize! Their spiral tails popped straight and coiled back. Their spiral tails popped straight and then coiled back as they snuffled up great snootfuls of water. Love that. Fucking snootfuls. What a prize! This is italics. Ba-ba-ba. Fish pulled an arrow from his quiver and crept closer. No, we got 2 creps. So here we have like a strong question of so let's make this 20 yards. What a prize! Fish pulled an arrow from his quiver and edged closer. 20 yards away, he knocked the arrow. Fish took his first breath as he lined up the shot. With the second, he drew the string. On the third, he took aim and began to slowly exhale. "20 yards away, he knocked the arrow and began the ritual. Oh, it's Big Jira. Good morning. Guten Morgen, Herr Jira. What a prize. Fish pulled an arrow from his quiver and edged closer. 20 yards away, he knocked the arrow and began the ritual. What? Fucking 3 breaths. With his first breath, he lined up the shot. With the second, he drew the string. How would he do it? Would he breathe that out through his nose, or? I love that I went to like a bow hunting forum and could just find like this technique that somebody had spent. My eyes are closed. I'm just listening. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I can drive this. You know, when I'm like dating somebody, I always do all the driving too. They're always like fucking falling asleep in the seat next to me and like squinting into like the high beams and so forth. I'm like, I got this. That's what it's like to feel like a man. And then I just flip the car like right off of Highway 1. And then we crash down in the Pacific Ocean. Hell yeah. It's a good weekend. What a prize. Fish pulled an arrow from his quiver and edged closer. 20 yards away, he knocked the arrow and began the ritual. 3 breaths. Boom. Let's do this. With his first breath, he lined up his shot. With a second, he drew the string. Holding the third breath in his lungs, he took careful aim and then began. He took careful aim and slowly let out air. When half his wind is gone, fish would loose. He would loose. Oh, yeah, he would loose. Just looks weird. There we go. When half his wind was gone, he would loose the arrow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me get my creep on right here. There we go. Mm-hmm. Whew. The moment before he fired, a crash in the brush up. Oh. Ugh, I don't like that. Yeah, the bow comes into play up here at the very beginning. Dawn broke as he strung his bow and shouldered a quiver of broadheads. Boom. Yeah, that's one's definitely that one's clearly laid out in the narrative. What do we got here? And then we have the whole paragraph about him drawing the bow. Um, mhm. Before he could fire, a crash in the brush startled the drift of piglets. They sprang out of the river and darted around the shore in circles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Trees swayed and the piglets froze up. There was something in the brush upriver. Trees swayed and the piglets froze up, still as statues with their... Yep, there we go. Before he could fire, a crash startled the drift of piglets. Did we use drift of piglets earlier? I had to look up that a bunch of piglets is a drift. No, that's the one place that we're going to use drift of piglets, and then we won't use it again because drift is it's a pretty uncommon usage in English. You do indeed fire a bow. Yeah, there's a whole specific vocabulary of stuff. Archery is like one of those things that we've been doing since the dawn of time, and we have a bunch of like very specific words for the verbs surrounding archery. Shit like fletching and ooh. As I was reading the narrative of like that three breath method, they had like all kinds of verbs like the points and stuff like that I hadn't done for a while. I went to in Brooklyn. They have an archery range where you can go and learn to shoot a bow. And I went with an ex-girlfriend, and we had a good time there. There's a place nearby where they do really good dumplings. They're what are they? They're Polish dumplings, like not latkos. They're like pierogies. Yeah, there's a pierogi spot right near there that is legit. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I just took out the yearling language. So it's kind of important to include some measure of their size, just because the boar, the sow, is going to be fucking enormous. They were yearlings, just 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Fish pulled an arrow from his quiver. The piglets were yearlings, just 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Cool. And so that will tell you here. Average size of a pig at 1 year. Pig dimensions and drawing. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. So, wow, dimensions.com is fucking awesome. Yeah, this is great. Pigs can live for 20 years. Okay, so this is a domestic pig. This is fucking perfect. This is what I want to see exactly right here. So like an average of about 29 inches. And if we're saying that they're 5 feet tall at the shoulder, they're about twice the size of a normal full-grown pig, which is pretty good. Hold on. What happens if we search for a rifle? Nothing. What happens if we say Brooklyn Bridge? One-legged pose, Mel Brooks. Why do we have the dimensions of fucking Woody Allen? Weird. It seems like it's mostly like products and shit. Okay. Well, it's not as cool as I thought. The broadhead shot underneath and clinked against a stone. Up, up, up. Fish took his shot. The arrow flew true, but the twang of his bowstring gave him away. The piglet leapt a foot straight into the air. The broadhead shot underneath and snapped against a stone. So he's 20 yards away. The sound of his string startles the pig, and it's able to jump into the air, like a foot into the air before it can. That's a little shaky, but I'll take it. So, mm, 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 mm. It's a lot of weight to be bouncing around and so forth. I just don't want to break my reader's suspension of disbelief with these bouncing pigs. Bounding about in circles. I like bounded. Okay. Before he could fire, a crash startled the drift of piglets. They sprang out of the river and bounded about in circles. Something large was in the brush upriver. A branch snapped. Ooh, it's getting dark out there. Okay, I gotta send this text. All right. I have to clean up my fucking apartment. Ugh. But it'll be good once it's done. Before he could fire, a crash startled the drift of piglets. They sprang out of the river and bounded about in circles. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, I haven't seen Guess Right in a long ass time. Still fighting that valiant bees with the impotent sword. No, we got through that. God, that was like 7 fucking days. Um, yeah, how are you, Vera? Let's see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. But yeah, like we spent 20 hours on that fucking chapter, and this one is no prize either. I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this book, but we're doing it anyway. Before he could fire, a crash startled the drift of piglets. They sprang out of the river and leapt about in bounding circles. Something large was in the brush upriver. Branches snapped and trees swayed. Oh, let's move this up. Something large was in the brush. The piglets froze, stiff as statues with their tails stuck straight out. So this part where the pigs don't die is lifted directly from Save the Cat, which is his book about screenwriting. It's not actually, it just happens to coincide with that. But yeah, you're not supposed to kill little cute animals in your story. Believe it or not. No bacon for anybody. Fish took his shot. The arrow flew true, but the twin... Fish tracked the closest and took his shot. Fish tracked the closest pig and took his shot. The arrow flew true, but the twang of his bowstring gave him away. The piglet leapt a foot straight into the air. Ugh. All right, there we go. Fish tracked the closest pig and took his shot. Good job. I've done a lot of work. Yeah, I always do like a lot of fucking work on these books. It's going. This one's going really slow. It's just pretty choppy and needs a lot of work. Essentially, we're doing a complete rewrite of the entire fucking 700-page novel, which is insane. But here we are. At least we're not even a seventh of the way through. Um, Mm-hmm. This time you'd aim higher. Uh, Curiously, the drift didn't bolt. Yeah. The pigs began squeak. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's up, Moons? The pigs squealed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a little bit rough right there. Okay, cool. Let me pause, and I will be right back. Hold the fort for me, doggo. All right. Did you keep close watch on everybody? Good boy. uh, See, now I feel like I have to get a Samoyed if I get another dog. Oh. Oh, it just happened. I'm going to buy that dog. Hold on. Yep. New York White Sammies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Got to keep them from getting heat exhausted. Adopt a puppy. Availability, there's one female that's available. Aw. Our puppies cost $4,000. Okay, well that's so much for that. Oh, I thought that would be cool, but no thank you. I should just get some fucking crazy pity mutt from that nobody else can handle right there. Honestly, I should get a dog that can fit on a motorcycle if I had any fucking sense. Or one that's good at traveling, since I'm about to be kicked out of the city. Well, so much for that dream. It would be cool, though. You could just see, like, the doggo, like, while I'm trying to write. Damn it, I beat you back. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you missed, like, a whole narrative about dogs. I'll rewatch. I want to see what I missed later anyway. Wow, that's wild. I can't imagine rewatching this. I can barely imagine doing it, but I gotta get the books done. Fish was surprised the piglets didn't bolt. He knocked another arrow, resolving to aim higher. And resolved to aim higher. Too late, he realized his error. The pigs weren't running. The pigs weren't running because help was on the way. How can I be up so early? I just woke up and I have 3 p.m. here. Yeah, I wake up at like 4 a.m. every day to do this. Although it's a weekend, so I woke up at 6 a.m., which is good because I can't get to bed as early as I'd like today. And then tomorrow, just FYI, we're doing a Dungeons and Dragons stream on this channel. Ooh, Dungeons and Dragons. And then we have one more week of editing, and then I have to leave for like a week of vacation. Let me see. Sound like I'm being forced on vacation? It's not a vacation. It is a tribulation. But there might. It's like one of those things where you might have great gain and you might have great loss, but no matter what transpires, there will be great suffering. Believe you me. Lord have mercy. And then there is good morning. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So, how did the piglets know that help is on the way? The crashing all the time in the thing was just their mother. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it this weekend. I want to sleep around the time you're waking up. Yeah. Wait, this sow is, but yeah. So the pig. We went into this a little bit ago, but the pigs are like twice the size. The piglets are twice the size of full-grown pigs. Um, and let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like in a fantasy story, the animals should always be fucking gigantic, right? Yeah, I loved Princess Mononoke. I like Spirited Away a little bit. Oh, maybe I'll watch that today. I like Spirited Away a little bit better, just as a story. Like I think it's fantastic. But uh, yeah, like Mononoke is just fucking dope. Yeah, and I loved all the demons and pigs. Yeah, these aren't boars. It's important to like have the Yili be piglets there. Yeah, and they are. They're like dappled gray and whatever. So these are pigs, not boars, and they do have wild pigs. Thinking of Irontown, hell yeah. He called in and said he was from Knife Town. I was thinking Irontown. I remember that. I think I was mishearing him when he kept saying Knife Town, and I just kept like twisting it around and around. But yeah, that's DNSK. He's a crazy fucking FNAT character. Yeah, you'll see him like every morning, pimping his DJ stream. He's like one of the few people that we let advertise on LRH, just because he's a friendly dude, and I think he's a patron of the show as well. So too late, he realized his error. The pigs weren't running. The pigs weren't running because help was on the way. Their mother burst from the brush. The Yili sow was bigger than a bull. Mm-hmm. 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 The Yili sow. Ah, that doesn't work. Please say hello to DNSK when you get a chance. He's a good dude. I will, indeed. Um, yeah. Oh, look at how. What the fuck? Why did my eyes. Look at that. Look at how it disappeared. The fucking. What is Yili? Oh, hold on. I gotta. Huh. Why did it do that? Yeah. Like it took away the dots in the eyes. Hold on. Let's find out. Yeah. I have no fucking clue what you were doing there, autocorrect. Yeah, look at this. What the fuck is this? Is that Hebrew? Let's find out. Year. Chinese New Year. All right, hold on. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's Turkish. Oh, so that's Turkish for a year. Huh. That's kind of neat. Oh, hold on. Let's make sure that this is actually the case. Just Yil is year. And yeah. So maybe the plural is year is like sun and so forth. Okay, cool. Well, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Don't say and so enraged. I didn't. I already deleted it. Can I say cloven steps? Mm-hmm. Here, hold on. Let's go back to dimensions.com and see what they've got for a bull. Mythical beings. All right. Cattle. All right, let's take a look at this cattle. Back to 6500 BC. Yeah, you're not useful. Dimensions.com. Oh yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah, let's think about how we can describe this gigantic fucking pig in the context of the fear that it evokes in a guy who's like, oh, that pig is too fucking big. Farmer Brown's pumpkins. That's fucking ridiculous. Do sows have tusks? I'm sure some species do. Both boars and sows. Look at this pig. What a G. Yeah. Let's give her some tusks. Aw. How are domestic pigs able to grow tusks and become hairy within months of being released to the wild? I too want to know that. Oh. They're detusked at birth. Yeah. I didn't realize that domestic pigs are detusked. Yeah. They're the only dangerous animal in the brush here. Yeah, were they introduced there? Are they like, were they native or introduced in New Zealand? I think that they were introduced. Yeah, they're hard to fucking eradicate, too. Yeah, pigs are wild. Once or twice a year, a pig will blow its coat, leaving them bald. I didn't know that. Yeah, no native land mammals. Hell yeah. I wonder what it would take to just fucking completely wipe them out on that island, if it's even possible. That'd be cool. I'd like to eradicate something. Few species of small bat. Gangsta. Bigger than a bull and twice as mad. Huge rows of teats. Well, they're yearlings, so after a year, let's find out how long it takes before pigs are weaned. Yeah, 3 and 4 weeks of age. Cool. Piglets that need some. There was an ideal weaning age. 4 to 8 weeks of age, yeah. Okay. If a piglet is weaned, it is now a shoat? Huh. Yeah, there's so much. Shoat is a newly weaned pig is a shoat. Mm-hmm. Boar is a hog. Castrated boar. Sow is a female. Gilt. Shoat. Hog that has been weaned. Pig is an unweaned baby hog. Okay, I think you're right, but I want to keep piglet there. No, shoat is a, yeah. Oh, that sucks. Do we have to change the whole fucking thing to be shoats? Oh, well, we don't, it's only because we, Only piglets. The Yili were already 5 feet tall at the shoulder. There we go. Okay, so we just take that out. Yeah, I don't want to call them shoats. I don't think that will describe her teats, but no, they still had them. What a prize! Though they still had the mottled piglet skin, the Yili were already 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Cool. So that lets us uh, boom. Then we can use, if we set that they're, as piglets they're there, we can talk about how the sow has like a crazy coat of bristly fur. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Cool. You had to stay perfectly still. Pigs had poor eyesight. They only had to see what was in front of their snouts. If he stayed perfectly still, she might not see him. Pigs had poor eyesight. They only had to see what was in front of their snouts. Did we make it a stone thing right there? I like that we can use Trotter. Let me make sure. Oh, I like grunted there. Cool. A pig's foot used as food. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, scored. I need pod. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, spotter. Cool. Yeah. Let's give you. Hold on. I'm actually gonna go back and count all the shit. So we took your hoofs suggestion. One. We didn't do. And then two for the fact that they're weaned, which is a good change. I already knew that she would smell them. Keen scent, wickedly curving tusk. And then we did. So I'm going to give you 4 total points right here for your contributions. Yeah, don't let those slip by. You got to catch up with these motherfuckers. You might win the editing ace hat. Holy shit. Yeah, you're actually closer than I thought. So there's big 43. So many edits already. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, in the case of the sow, she is definitely the danger. She is not worried about anything else in this area. She's about to fuck fish up really bad. That's wild. Mm. Oh, um, yeah, yeah. Like it's like, I've seen, yeah, danger to her kids. Warthog attacks something. Rows of teats as big as pumpkins swayed beneath her. I'll give you that teat point too, because I think it is a. Um, we want this to be a celebration of motherhood. So we used froze earlier. Yeah, it is a visceral image. I like that. We could say that he's stricken. Stricken. Um, so where is he with the? He took a shot. Oh, you know what would be cool is he's got the arrows like he's he has the bow drawn and he has to hold it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so he's like hmm he's all yeah, so he's knocked and drawn. He had knocked, but we didn't say that he drew. Uh as he drew the string, he realized his error. The pigs weren't running because help was on the way. Their mother their mother burst from the brush and rushed. Mm-hmm. Done heading to your place. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So that's emotion. Like, Fish realized his error as he drew the bow. Mm-hmm. As he drew the bow, he realized his error. The pigs weren't running off because help was on the way. Their mother burst from the brush and rushed. Okay, so let's take this brush and make it a specific type of brush right here so that the reader can identify what brush we're talking about. Let's make it a blackberry bramble. I just, if we have mulberries here, ferny undergrowth. Huh. I want it to be something that you can eat, right? Like what could this pig be chowing down over there? There could be like a cherry tree. I want her to be maybe like a peanut bush. Look at how fucking cute those pigs are. Hazelnut tree. Oh, I like a hazelnut bush. Yeah. Shrubby almonds, buckeye. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's. They root at the ground and eat them out of the dirt. Yeah, they'll eat fucking everything. Okay, so do we want her to be eating buckeyes or inedible nuts? Huh. All bottlebush buckeyes are toxic, including the nuts. Let me take a look at bottlebush buckeyes. What do these look like? Oh, they look dope. The beauty of the bottlebush buckeye. Oh, that looks amazing. Let's take a look at these nuts. Oh, they look like something I want to eat, too. These look delicious. Oh, I love the... these look amazing. Look at these fucking plants. Great shrub. The bottlebrush buckeye. And they kill children, too? That's perfect. Oh, yeah, we're going with this. Oh shit, it's a big peacock. Let me see there. Did I really mean snootfuls? I did want snootfuls right there. I just think that's fucking funny. Uh, hell yeah. I do like roughhousing. So I want something like horsing around, but let's take a look. God, I really like how this chapter is going. Just like, I like all these little things that we get to add when we're doing the rewrite. Like, just shit like finding out about the tits of pigs, and those buckeyes look amazing. I want those in my yard that I don't even have. Uh, but I like all the little details that we get to shoehorn in on there. Yeah, horsing around. So I thought about cavorting, but it's not right. Roughhousing, horseplay, rowdy, hijinks, escapade, caprice, capering. Oh, I do like gambling. Oh, yeah, I think gambling is, yeah, prancing and gambling. Cool. See, this is so much more. Oh, did War Pigs really just start? Uh, I like pranced and gambled. Yeah, that's amazing that fucking War Pigs came on. Oh, loving it. All right, you're almost caught up with Spaethiwa right there. God, you could get the hat. Get myself a window box. There are no plants in my home, by the way. Yeah, I just don't. I don't have any at all. There's many synthesizers though. Yeah, you're almost there. That's what you get for showing up and doing good work. To me, this is like so many things have been added to this whole thing. Like I like the addition of the tower. Um, I like the mulberry trees with red and black fruit, and then so what do you call a bunch of group of bushes? So we already did copse. Oh, clump. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, this is great. Look at this whole list of words for let's commit an arboretum, an avenue, a beer. Oh, cool. Oh, fuck off. Oh, wait. Why am I telling this guy to fuck off? So this guy just writes stories about trees. Uh, Silo Silvologist. All right, hold on. Let's find out about Gabriel Hemi because I hate his fucking pop up. Suck a dick. British author, tree photographer, and forest scientist. Tall Tree short stories. Green Gold. The new. Oh, check out this book. Oh, I love his red spine right there. Let's take a look. Scottish Loch. All right. Yeah, his this should totally be a link to that book. The New Silva, a detailed and sumptuous celebration of trees and forests. Also translated into Chinese. Wow. It's a great cover. Look at that. He just made such a great idea. I gotta steal that red spine idea. Is indeed a handsome tome right there. And so this is really useful here that he has inclusion in the forest book right there. All right, so let's hear some of these right here. A bush, cant, block within a woodland, coppice management, chaparral, dense thickets of trees in the Mediterranean region, evergreen broadleafs, a clearing, a clump. This is what we're gonna do. I already know already, but I want to hear some. Compartment, a coop, where trees are to be felled, a coppice. I don't know what coppicing is. Let's find out. Traditional method of woodland management. A coppice wood, called a copse. Young tree stems are repeatedly cut down to near. Here, let's take a look. So they cut these down. Young tree stems are cut down near ground level. New growth emerges. Pollarding, higher level in the tree, to prevent grazing animals from eating new shoots. Desugi is a similar Japanese silviculture, cutting and regrowth. Huh. Well, I wonder why they do it. Oh, it maintains trees at a juvenile stage, and most coppice tree will never die of old age. Coppice stools may reach immense ages. 18 feet across. Coppiced for centuries. That's fucking crazy. Okay, so here, the tree to be coppiced. They cut the close to the base in the winter. Shoots regrow, and then they're ready for harvest within recently felled chestnut coppice. Okay. Huh, yeah, look at all them logs. All right, well, I did not know that trees worked that way, and now I do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. We're going to call it a thicket, though thicket is not... look at all them logs and chickens. Wait, there were chickens in there? Gander. Is chicken what they call like a group of logs? But no. Or is it just a reference I'm not getting? That is a lot of logs right there. I don't know anything about forestry. Speaking of not knowing anything, grove, a hag, a clearing in a wood from Old Norse. Hedgerow is a line of trees. Krummelts is trees growing at high latitudes where their growth is stunted by extreme cold and wind. This is great, actually. Orchard, pine atenum, a collection of pine, in a special arboretum. Quercetum is a collection of oak. A shelter belt, Shrubbery, stand, thicket, a dense area of trees. A group of willows is a withy. Xylarium, a collection of woody specimens. Okay, cool. It's a meme. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the meme. Romanian Book Festival. This guy's going to be at the Romanian Book Festival, and I'm not? God, what a G. Here, let's take a look at this character. Oh, wow. Yeah, he definitely looks like somebody who's deeply into trees. Looks like a friend of mine, actually. Okay. Well, shout-outs to, let's remember this guy's name, Gabriel Hemery. I should send him a, yeah, at the end of this, I'll send him a thank you for your useful list of tree terms. I did the same thing to fucking the guy that wrote that thing about Mahler's Seventh Symphony. People never respond, but from time to time, it's nice to just hear, like, hey, you know, thanks for doing your shit. He looks like a druid. He does look like a fucking druid. All right, what do we got there? Here, let's take a look at bottle brush flowers. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, I just love the no, I don't like faster than a zero. Cool. Let me see. Wait, what's going on here? Ra got me good in the channel earlier. Uh, I believe for almost an hour his troll that he was a chick who found her husband's father dead from suicide. To her being a patron of the dude from Soul Coughing. Zartek couldn't stand it any longer. He tried to string it out a bit, but the jig is yeah. So far, I'm not too sure about that raw guy, but yeah, no space. Well, it's Sunday morning. In fact, I should stop here because I got to clean up my apartment. I got company. All right. So I think we there. Okay. So we only made a tiny little bit of progress here. God, what if every chapter takes a fucking week? It'll take like 5 years to finish this book, man. All right. But I feel like we made some progress there. All right. So 892. All right, and then how many hours? 2 hours and 53 minutes. All right, that's enough. All right, cool. Blah, 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 blah. All right, well, thank you, Milkness, for your help right there, and I'll look into... This is always fun. It's good progress this morning, too. I like all the stuff we're adding in. It just makes we're cutting out like a bunch of bullshit and putting in like some specific details and action verbs and stuff like that. And it's just like a way better story. I like that they're squealing there. All right. And then we can get there, and then so much more work to do on this chapter. Hopefully, we'll pick up the pace and the writing gets less lousy later on. All right, enough of that. Catch you later.